Hello gamers, welcome back to another video. So if you didn't know, yesterday came out Sword Art Online Fractured Daydream, and I'm not going to do like a usual let's play like I usually do in the other games, but I do plan to do like one solo video that's just my long journey, so that's still in the process. But for now, I'm just going to give my review of what I feel about the game after playing it for a couple days. And you're probably asking, how did I play this for a couple days? Well, if you pre-ordered the game, you could have actually played this back in like September 30 or October 1st, whatever, a couple days ago. But yeah, this game came out yesterday, so here are my thoughts. I think I'm like a little bit further ahead, like almost halfway done with the story, I think. Not too sure. I feel like I'm very close. So let's start with the story. I will just mention you do not have to play any of the other Sword Art Online games to enjoy the story. As long as you have watched the anime up until War of Underworld, or even the progressive movies, I guess that's not really super important, just up until War of Underworld, then you are completely fine to enjoy the story of this game. It's more centered towards the people who only watch the anime, but not towards people who have played all the other Sword Art Online games. Now with the story, it's alright. I'm not super intrigued with it. It did have a bit of a mystery to it in the beginning of the game, and I should mention I'm gonna try and keep this as spoiler free as possible. Probably the most things I'll talk about is chapter 1, and that is it. It keeps a mystery. It does pretty well at the very beginning to keep it strong with the mystery, because all of a sudden, like, why is Quinella just hanging with the gang? That's just, it makes you very confused, and then it starts to unravel and everyone's just confused of what exactly is going on. They're stuck in a add-on extension thing called Galaxia, where you can replay past events and you can kind of relive it and you can interact with it, and if you change something, it can actually change the course of what happened during that event. So it was super interesting in that side. But going towards the game a bit further, it became a little bit predictable and just a little bit too much trying to solve the mystery. So I guess it's more centered towards that mystery. Do I really enjoy the story? I would say it's all right, right? If I were to give it out of a 10, it is probably like a 7, maybe a 6.5. I feel like I'm being too generous with the 7. It catches me with the hook of the mystery, but then right afterwards, it's not really, I'm not too into it. I just feel like it's a little bit too predictable. Although it is kind of cool to see like different characters kind of come together, enemies reuniting with certain characters, and everyone just getting angry and super awkward and whatnot. Like that part I really enjoyed. With the story, there's small animations that they put in this game. Like I'm pretty far into the game. There's like I can probably count in one hand like how many animations there have been so far. But when there is an animation in this game, it's actually really nice. It looks really nice compared to all the other previous SEO games. And when you go through a cutscene, their facial expressions when they're like talking or like trying to crack a joke or in a serious tone, I actually thought they actually look really cool. Playing the other SEO games, I can't really see like their expressions when you go through a cutscene, when you're just kind of like tapping through it. But with this game, their expressions look pretty nice, and sometimes it makes me want to laugh. Now with the battle, with the gameplay, I did have another video talking about like when I played the beta test of this game before the actual full release. So it's kind of the same, but as I actually got to play more of the actual gameplay, doing more co-op, playing the story and whatnot, the game is very focused on replayability, because a lot of the stages and the fights is exactly the same. You go through a world, or maybe you're fighting a boss and you're just kind of killing it and then rinse and repeat. So there's really nothing new to the game. It's the same thing. Kind of think of it like if you're playing a mobile game, right? Like if you're a fan of Sword Art Online, right? You played Sword Art Online Memory Defrag. This feels like Sword Art Online Memory Defrag, but 3D and a bit more open world. This is what I expected Variant Showdown to be, but no, now it's just this game, Fractured Daydream. I will say though, in a viewing point, I could see it being a little bit boring, but if you actually played the game, it is actually a lot more fun than how it looks if you actually play it. Now, I don't know what their plans are of like why we should be grinding. Is it just to make ourselves stronger, that we can keep playing just so we're stronger, get more MVPs? Because you do have a daily system where you can like rack up a bunch of experience, just so there's like a little battle pass, but the battle pass isn't really too enticing, right? You get a costume, maybe you get an emote. There's nothing fun, you know, like the gritty. Like, no, you're not gonna gritty in this game. It's so super simple, like you're just pointing. boring. But you do get these tickets and there is a store, but you obviously don't need the costumes. It doesn't give any special effects like, oh, you get this and it gives you more attack or something. Like, you know, it's just there to look fancy and whatnot. Anyway, back to the actual gameplay. Now you actually have a bunch of different rules. You have fighter, you have tanks, rogue, ranger, mage, and support. And you can see right here, you have a bunch of different characters and you have a DLC Straya, so that's nice. So you can assume that they're gonna add more characters to this game, I guess more Gameverse characters in the future. Now they all actually have their different skill and they also have different rules. For example, although Yuna is a support, I actually really enjoy Yuna because she also does some pretty nice AoE. My first MVP, my teammate had Yuna and not only outdid me in damage but also more enemies defeated. How? I don't know. I was playing Kirito. I was second place, so that was nice. As I mentioned, how this game focuses on replayability, for the majority of the time, as long as you're not doing boss raid, it's a lot of AoE. So if you can get a character that can kill a bunch of enemies and then you have that one character that can solo a boss or you all just work together, you know, the game is pretty simple in terms of teamwork. Only solo gameplay is if you do the story, but besides that, if you go to, there's a game mode called free roam where you can literally just run around the map, you can do some missions and you can keep some of the stuff. I did that for like 15 minutes. I got bored, I left and I kept the items, so that's sweet. But with co-op, it's kind of the same with story. Go around, fight enemies, fight the boss at the end. Boss raid, you just fight the boss. As I mentioned, just playing the game yourself, it's pretty fun. I don't know how long it'll last for me, but it is pretty fun. Although a variety of different game modes to actually try, there's not much going for this game. Now, how big is this game exactly in terms of like the world building? It's pretty big when you get into it, like especially if you're playing free roam or if you're just doing like a story mode and running around or co-op. It's decently pretty big to run around. It's pretty nice to see. Graphics are nice and whatnot. Turn off motion blur so it doesn't hurt my eyes. Now, as you go through all of those like co-op, story, or whatever game mode you're doing, you can get equipment, you can get accessories, you can get weapons, and all those, they have different substats to it that can either give you more power, you can get more experience, you can get more coal or money. So there's like different playstyles you can give to like your main character if you want to prioritize on a certain aspect of them. But you don't only have to do those game modes. There's even a thing called create item, where it's basically like if you save the money just by playing the game, you can craft weapons or accessories for like whatever. So like this is fighting or tank, this is rogue or ranger, this is major support. Or you spend some of that money that when you play the game, and then you can just craft it yourself. Although if I am correct, it is based off like your current rank of the game. So like right now, see, it's like 19, 20 right here. I'm currently ranked 20, so it's really catered towards your current rank. So I probably wouldn't do that until like way later when I'm higher in the ranks to actually craft. I just save the coins. Now, for someone that actually likes outfits, as I mentioned earlier, there's actually a lot of different outfits you can get, including, like I said, the store system, like memory defragmented right here, right? You have the pirate units, and then you have all these other great different outfits that you can get, but you have to like either spend money or you actually do the battle pass in order to get all that other stuff. But you also have free outfits. Like as you play through the game, you eventually get some of these things, or in the accessories, you can eventually get some of those. There's more, I just haven't gotten any. All right, I blabbered. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how do I feel about the gameplay? I'll actually give the game a solid 8 out of 10 for its gameplay. It's more fun to play than it is to watch someone play. So in that space, you know, that's pretty nice. But speaking of that, how about should you actually buy this game? I'm gonna be completely honest with you. This game should not cost $60. I genuinely feel that this game should have been a free game because I feel like I'm playing a mobile game with a story. So I feel like if they made this game free, then this game could probably stay alive in terms of like its co-op and replayability in that sense. If you want to spend money, you can either spend money for, let's say you want to unlock the story and then you can just play the co-op multiple times to unlock more characters, or they can focus on their store for more outfits, because that can get some people to spend some money. But I really don't think you should pay $60 just to play this game. Like, you would only spend the $60 if you're a fan of Sword Art Online, but if you're just intrigued about the game, but then you're not gonna get like new people to actually play this game. So I don't know how long this game is gonna stay alive. I feel like it'll die down eventually, but it is fun to play. It just sucks that it's kind of hid behind a paywall, and a new person ain't gonna come in here and spend $60 when you know, a lot of people like to shit on Sword Art Online. As I mentioned, the gameplay is literally the same thing. You go in there, either go through the whole world and then you fight the boss, or you just fight the boss. Free roam. And I guess the more exciting part is as you make your character stronger every time you grind, and you get better substats in your weapons and accessories. But that's really the only satisfying thing about this game. And of course, like, it depends on the character's gameplay. There's a variety of different gameplay. I find Eunice to be pretty nice. I like Eiji's too. Eiji's gameplay is pretty nice. So as overall with this game, I might have to say it's like a 6.5 out of 10. The only reason that I put it lower is because of the paywall. If it wasn't behind a paywall, I'd actually put this game to like a 7.5, maybe an 8 if I'm being super generous. Because like the gameplay really isn't that bad. It's just there's not too much to do in this game. I really don't feel like I should have to spend $60 for like the same gameplay. I'm only spending $60 really for the story. But like the story, it's pretty nice, right? It got me a little bit interested in the very beginning, although towards probably the middle, I'm like, I'm all right with it, not super enticed with it. The gameplay, I'm still having fun with it, but I'm probably gonna like burn out eventually. I don't know if there's gonna be like new content in this game or whatever, like a mobile game would, like Memory Defrag. But I just feel like I was playing Memory Defrag on console, or not really on PC, on Steam with a controller or keyboard, whatever you use. But I really wish that this wasn't behind a paywall. But anyways, I guess that's basically it. I will have like an actual video of me going through my journey of playing this game whenever I finish. I don't know. I hope it's soon, but the editing might take me a while. So anyways, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. If you guys enjoy, why not leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you guys all again in the very next video. Goodbye.